You're watching Camnet TV, not just another channel. Welcome to our news. The headlines. Land wrangles in the recently DE-GAZETTED Forest 42 DEEPEN. Woman killer sentenced to death by hanging. BLZ signs gold purchase agreement with the Zambia Gold Company. In international news, DR Congo Parliament votes to remove Speaker. And in sports news, the Zambia Under-20 knocked out of the 2020 COSAFA Men's Championship by Mozambique. For the details, join me shortly after this break.
Hello, have you heard about MOZAMBIQUE? Do you know that you can advertise for as low as 150 kwacha for 30 seconds? Well, MOZAMBIQUE is here. Advertise on MOZAMBIQUE between 17 hours and 18 hours. Just tell us about the services that you offer and we'll gladly put you on the market. For more details, you can contact
+260 953 995099 +260 962 444 726 or +260 971 177 467.
MOZAMBIQUE, allowing your business to grow.
With the details, my name is Liseli Kanyanga. Land wrangles in the recently DE-GAZETTED Kawena Forest Reserve number 42 in Chief Shakumbila's chiefdom have intensified. One of the headmen Musale, accuses the chiefdom of displacing people while selling the land to foreigners. But the chief, in an interview with Camnet TV News, has denied the allegations, explaining that no one has been displaced from their land in the area, but has only asked those encroaching in other people's farms to move out from there, as it will bring problems. More in this report.
Zambians seem to have realized the value of land and there is a serious rush for it. However, the issue of land has brought about problems in society, especially when it comes to boundaries. Recently, President Edgar Chagwa de-gazetted the Kawena Forest Reserve, number 42 in Shuyunju district of Central Province. But this land is now a center of controversy. Headman Musale under Chief Shakumbila is accusing the chief of having sold the land he and 108 other households are living while being evicted to nowhere.
Makamaka bazimba ni munda wabene babwera balima balina 500 hectares kudala manje by now baonjezera futi yankala 700 hectares ati inagula beve wa chief Shakumbila pamene land pamene anaita DE-GAZETTED by now banabapasa land ikulu futi bakaligonjezera manje tadabwa kuti manje kama kumenye wastigona na usiku ndiye nkani ikulu please tapapata government kuti tianganepo pantao zino ntao yolima talima kudala ma hectare.
But Chief Shakumbila in an interview refutes these allegations, saying it is actually Headman Musale who is encroaching on other people's land.
Each headman is the senior headman in the area. Each headman is given 250 hectares to establish a village. That's how it is. So those allegations to me, they are baseless allegations. Because it's him who has encroached in the areas of other people. Yes. That's the only problem. He doesn't want to understand that. He's ignoring all these words of good ways. Jesus Christ. He has ignored all the advice we have tried to give him. Those people have encroached in these pieces of land. They must move out.
The chief explains that Headman Musale was only allocated 250 hectares of land to establish a settlement there, but has instead increased his hectareage to 1,400 without an authority. The chief, flanked by senior headman Chipito, clarifies that Headman Musale has even encroached in President Edgar Lungu's 1,000-hectare farmland, including that of President Edgar Lungu's private secretary, Dan Siwo, who has also 100 hectares in the recently DE-GAZETTED forest.
These pieces of land, Musale is saying people in those areas are being evicted. Because those people, like the private secretary to the president, I think by the time when Musale was coming, he found already that this boy was already there. Yes. And that part where it says the Chinese, those Chinese are in my plot. These 3 places, including the place of the Republican president, were clearly marked.
The farm for the president is clearly marked, is on title. And the graders are there, marking the boundaries. But it's to putting other farmers in that place for the president. We all call him, come, we will sit down, what is wrong? He doesn't want to come to me as a senior headman.
But Headman Musale expressed his shock to learn that President Edgar Lungu owns such massive land in the area without the knowledge of others, including himself.
And imagine, we don't know his farm, and he never told us that Edgar Lungu has got a farm here. You can imagine, he didn't tell us, even when the way to go, he never told us that there is a farm for Edgar Lungu here.
Headman Musale is also accusing the chief of being bribed by Zambia National Farmers Union ZNFU president Javes Zimba to eat into other people's farms when he already has 500 hectares of land. But the chief denies these allegations, saying Mr. Zimba obtained this piece of land even before Headman Musale settled on it. Regarding the other huge chunk of the land given to the Chinese, Chief Chakumbele explains that the piece of land is an extension of his land and the Chinese settled there are his business partners.
It's the Himu Musale who does not want to understand the advice we have given him several times. He has put people in the area of Siwo. He's accusing those Chinese. Those Chinese were put by me. They are my friends, they are my partners in business. That's why they are there. Where the Chinese are is where I am myself. We are partners. So the areas which have been taken away from him, I'm failing to understand.
Others owning land in this area include Justice Minister Given Lubinda, Kalan Muchima, reporting for Camnet News, Shibuyunji, Central Province.
Chief Chikanta of the Tonga-speaking people of Kalomo district in Southern Province has donated 200 kilograms of Sidco maize seeds, 637 medium maturing variety to Northwestern Women for Change and Swaka Yabakaonde Cultural Association in Northwestern Province. Northwestern Province Sidco Regional Sales Assistant Manager Kamwanga Kapata handed over the maize seed to the beneficiaries on behalf of the Sidco Ambassador Chief Chikanta in Solwezi District, and both recipients, Northwestern Women for Change Farming Project Coordinator Princess Kalundu Chapewa and Nswaka Yabakaonde Cultural Association Task Force Chairperson for Northern Regional Milton Mukwasa thanked Chief Chikanta for the support. His Royal Highness Chief Chikanta's visit to Northwestern Province in December 2019 has yielded results in that the promise he made to donate maize seed to the two organizations has been fulfilled. Details as reported by Nais.
It is yet another farming season. It is the time farmers get to their fields to cultivate and plant the seeds. And for Northwest Women for Change and Sakayabaka on the cultural ceremony, the planting of their seed is set. They have just received a donation of 200 kilograms of Sidco maize seed, 637 medium maturity, from Chief Chikanta of the Tonga-speaking people from Kalomo district in Southern Province. And the bearer of the good news is Northwestern Province Sidco Regional Sales Assistant Manager Kamwanga Kapata, who handed over the maize seed to the beneficiaries on behalf of the traditional leader in Solwezi.
His Royal Highness Chief Chikanta did promise in Sakayabakaonde Cultural Association and the Northwestern Women for Change organization that we would organize some seed for them, since he is one of our Sidco ambassadors. So today we are gathered here to witness the handing over of 200 kgs of Sidco seed to these two organizations.
Beneficiaries are excited with the gesture.
I would like to thank the government of the day for the provision of the enabling environment for women to explore their potential. The government has provided us with 100 hectares of land where we are doing our agriculture activities there in Kayonge. We want to thank His Royal Highness, Chief Chikanta, who visited us sometime last year, 2019, who is also a Syndico ambassador. What we discussed is what you are witnessing today, to secure food security and malnutrition. We also would like to thank Syndico, for this is not the first time Syndico is doing this. Even last year, Syndico came to our aid. They gave us seed, and of which we cultivated, and we are still having that food in our homes.
We are grateful to Syndico in the first place, and we want to thank our Royal Highness Chief Chikanta, who is the master planner, who is trying to organize every Zambian to make sure that we grow a lot of food in our area. And let me thank the Women for Change again for organizing this important meeting with our Royal Highness.
The donation is aimed at encouraging women to take farming as a business in order to generate household income and food security in the province. Krivach Tuta, reporting in Solwezi, Northwestern Province.
MultiChoice Zambia has launched a storybook and docudrama called Panali Panali as part of its 25th anniversary celebrations in the country. The storybook is a special issue of the MultiChoice Zambia journey, highlighting the stories of different individuals and stakeholders whose lives have been enriched by the company. Speaking at the launch, Information Permanent Secretary Amos Malupenga has commended MultiChoice for the contribution it has made to the country and for supporting government in achieving so many national objectives. Mr. Malupenga says government is very pleased with the strides MultiChoice has made in the Zambia film industry and other areas. And MultiChoice Zambia board chairperson Julian Mwila says MultiChoice Zambia is a stellar example of the power of public-private partnership. More in this report.
Zambia's entertainment and movie industry has been transforming in the last few years. The movie industry that was largely dominated by Western culture has received a local touch of the Zambian soil, and thanks to MultiChoice Zambia. The MultiChoice Zambia has launched the first ever storybook and docudrama called Panali Panali, which highlights the stories of different individuals and stakeholders whose lives have been transformed by the coming of MultiChoice Zambia.
We are excited to be part of this celebratory event, recognizing successful partnerships between MultiChoice Zambia and the government of the Republic of Zambia. It has been deeply gratifying to see MultiChoice Zambia proactively take up its place as a leader in the film sector. MultiChoice Zambia is doing a tremendous job empowering local filmmakers, and Zambians know aspects of television and film development, production and broadcast.
MultiChoice not only provides Zambians with worldwide entertainment using the very latest satellite TV and digital technology, but also contributes to the sustainable economic growth of our country through significant job creation. Indeed, on the face of it, you may think, this is just entertainment, it's just TV, films and so forth, but we don't realize the impact that it brings to our economy.
So it's been a significant impact on us by virtue of this partnership. And obviously, one thing that I cannot forget to talk about is that we have, as ZNBC, up to about 2016, been getting dividends from MultiChoice to complement our operations. And it is through the dividends that we're getting that made a difference for us to be able to deal with some of the different operational requirements that we were expected to undertake. So in short, indeed, Mwatupanga managed.
Other stakeholders whose lives have been enriched also thanked the company. It is hoped that Zambia's movie industry will grow to compete at international level with the presence of a well-natured company set to change the face of the movie industry in the country. Prudence Chota for Camnet TV News.
The Bank of Zambia has signed a gold purchase agreement with the Zambia Gold Company Limited, a subsidiary of ZCCM-IH Gold Investment Holdings Limited, for the purchase of gold in the country. The agreement will enable the central bank purchase processed gold from the Gold Company Limited, a company that oversees the mining, processing, refining and marketing of gold in Zambia. Bank of Zambia Governor Christopher Vunga, who signed the agreement on behalf of the bank, says the agreement will take the bank's efforts to build the country's gold and foreign exchange reserves. The governor says holding gold drastically reduces default risk in the international reserve portfolio. He says unlike other financial instruments such as bonds, which can fail to yield returns should the user fail to meet its payment obligations, gold is not issued by any entity and is therefore not anyone's liability. Mr. Vunga is also optimistic that the implementation of the agreement will also enhance market confidence in the bank's ability to fulfill its mandate of price and financial system stability. Earlier, Dr. Vunga also signed an agreement with First Quantum Minerals aimed at fostering relations. FQM Director of Operations Rundi Bandenhorst, during the signing ceremony, said he is hopeful that the agreement will foster building financial resilience. Mr. Bandenhorst said the mining company is constantly engaging Ministry of Finance and Chamber of Mines on a tax code that can deliver mutual benefits to both the mine and the Zambian people. And moving on in the news, National Democratic Congress NDC President Chishimba Kambwili has been found with a case to answer and placed on his defense for contempt of court. Lusaka Magistrate Sunge Chanda, in her ruling Friday morning, said the prosecution has established a prima facie case against Mr. Kambwili and ordered that he opens his defense on February 23rd next year. It is alleged in this case that on March 6th, 2018 in Lusaka, Mr. Kambwili caused an obstruction of disturbance in the course of judicial proceedings by lodging documents at the Patents and Companies Registration Pakra relating to the registration of Mwamona Engineering Technical Services Limited when the matter was already in court. This is a different case to the one Mr. Kambwili was sentenced for to prison. In this matter, Economic and Equity Party President Chilufya Tayali is the complainant. More in this report.
Just last week, the National Democratic Congress leader Chishimba Kambwili walked smiling out of the Lusaka's Magistrate Court when he was acquitted in a case he was charged with expressing hate speech to an Indian man. The defense in that case had failed to establish a prima facie against him, hence he was set free. However, the opposition leader was this morning put on his defense after being found with a case to answer in a matter he's charged with contempt of court. Lusaka Magistrate Sunke Chanda, in a ruling, said the prosecution has established a prima facie case against him and ordered that he opens his defense. Allegations in this case are that on March 6, 2018 in Lusaka, Kambwili caused an obstruction or disturbance in the course of judicial proceedings by lodging documents at the Patents and Companies Registration Pakra relating to the registration of Mwamona Engineering and Technical Services Limited when the matter was already in court. Economic and Equity Party President Vincent Chilufyatali is the complainant in this case. Recently, Kambuli was convicted by Magistrate David Simusamba of forgery and uttering a false document which related to the registration of Mwamona Engineering and Technical Services and sentenced him to a 1-year jail sentence. He was however acquitted on a charge of giving false information to a public officer. The contempt charge, in which he has been found with a case to answer, is as a result of his alleged attempt to change the documents regarding to the registration of Mwamona when the matter was already before Magistrate Simusamba. In a ruling, Magistrate Chanda said she had taken time to go through the prosecution's evidence before her and came to a conclusion that the state had established a case against Kambuli to warrant placing him on his defense. She adjourned the matter to February 2021 for his defense, while mention could be on January 26, 2021. The NDC leader is also appearing before 4 other different courts where he is charged with different offenses. Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
Ndola woman who murdered her boyfriend Jeremiah Mbawa, a gym instructor at Floriana Lodge in Solwezi in December 2019, has been sentenced to death by hanging. Miriam Chilosha was found guilty of killing Mbawa, whom she burnt with petrol after she was angered by his decision to engage another woman. Chilosha was charged with murder and arson. After committing the offenses, Chilosha ran away and boarded a bus to head back to Ndola, but she was arrested. Judge Evaristo Pengele slapped Chilosha with the mandatory death sentence by hanging until she is pronounced dead by a medical doctor for her actions. We now take our first set of commercials. Do stay with us as we have more interesting stories lined up for you.
Stay home, stay safe. Times have changed. With the advent of the coronavirus, Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company would like to advise its esteemed customers to avoid visiting crowded places. You don't have to move to pay your water bill. You can do it in the convenience of your home. You can pay your water bills through Zanaco Zapit, Stanbic Bank, Standard Chartered Bank, and FNB. You can also use Airtel, MTN, and Zamtel Kwacha mobile money transfer services. For any inquiries to report a fault, please contact our customer service on +260 211 251 571, +260 975 618 618, and toll-free line 5957, Zamtel only. You can also simply email customerservice@lwsc.com. This public announcement is brought to you by the Lusaka Water Supply and Sanitation Company. Water is life. Sanitation is health.
From time immemorial, we have had different types of lighting options, from those that can burn down our investments in minutes to those that dig holes in our pockets due to constant replacement and huge consumption of our ZESCO units. Savenda Electric introduces the new and advanced electric bulb with cutting-edge technology of LED that has low power consumption, gives out bright white light, and lasts up to 25,000 hours. Savenda Electric manufactures all types of LED light, like plastic LED fluorescent tubes, down lights, ceiling lights, outdoor fittings, and solar street lights made to customer specifications. Let's live on the bright side of life by choosing the wide range of Savenda electric lighting solutions that are available in all leading stores and supermarkets countrywide. For orders, call 0962 642 490 or email jnbunda@savenda.com or pchabula@savenda.com.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. The opposition United Party for National Development has demanded for an audit of national registration cards in all provinces, especially Luapula. The party, through its chief whip, Stumbeko Msokotwane, says the numbers coming from Luapula are worrying, considering that the number of registered is too high compared to the number of NRCs issued recently. Mr. Stumbeko has also stated that even the number of NRCs NRCs being attributed to the people of Luapula is equally higher than the population of the province itself. Meanwhile, leader of the opposition, Jack Mwimbu, has added that while the National Registration Office has concentrated more in the PF perceived strongholds in the issuance of NRCs, the same officers were reluctant to do the same in provinces deemed to be UPND strongholds. Mr. Mwimbu says the party has evidence to this effect.
The United Party for National Development, UPND, have demanded that an audit report for national registration cards be conducted in all provinces. The opposition party claims that the last issuance of NRCs in Luapula province, to be specific, was beyond the number of people living in the area, adding that the extra number could have come from the neighboring countries. UPND Chief Whip Stumbeko Msokotwani said this during a media briefing in Lusaka.
In particular, we want to demand for an audit of the NRCs that were issued out in Luapula. Yes. And the reason is this. When CSO says the target for Luapula is 100,000, that is done by projections. And projections is not about sitting in the corner and imagining numbers, no. Projection is about taking the figures that were there in 2010 when census was undertaken, then apply the population growth rate, and other factors to come to a target. Yeah. So when you say Luapula the target is 100,000, we expect that the number of people eligible for NRCs in Luapula at maximum should have been somewhere close to 100,000 at maximum. If it was more, maybe we can accept 105, 110,000. But when it's 181,000, then it means there's something that has gone wrong.
Meanwhile, Moses Central Member of Parliament Jack Mwimbu says our Honour the Vice President Inongewina had made a statement on the floor in Parliament that the Ministry of Home Affairs go back to areas that did not receive the national registration cards, but this was ignored with impunity.
Honourable Inongewina, who is also the Vice President of the PF, made a statement on the floor of the House that she was going to direct, and that she had directed the Ministry of Home Affairs to go back to the areas that were not covered adequately by the mobile issuance of national registration cards. And she made an undertaking on the floor of the House that was going to be done before the closure of the voter registration. Alas, alas.
Meanwhile, they have listed demands to the Electoral Commission of Zambia to extend the voters' registration days, as the early projected 30 days to cover the targeted 9 million voters has failed.
We are demanding that the mobile registration or issuance of NRCs should go back, and that those who are at the bombers issuing NRCs must ensure that they jack up and issue national registration cards for our people without delay and hindrance. We are demanding that the voter registration be extended. And it must also be known that voter registration is a continuous process according to the law.
Miriam Kemba, reporting for Camnet TV News in Lusaka.
But Home Affairs Minister Stephen Kampyongo says government is currently prosecuting foreigners who attempted to obtain NRCs during the exercise. Speaking in Kitwe when he inspected the issuance of NRCs in the district, Mr. Kampyongo has urged his officers not to fall prey to bribes by giving the national identification cards to people who do not qualify to have them.
know that we are prosecuting a number of people, foreign nationals, who have wanted to take advantage of this period to get registered as Zambians. So be vigilant and make sure that you engage your officers not to fall prey by accepting bribes as a way of assisting people. First come, first serve, and also make sure that you look at the elderly citizens, those that are old, you give them preference as it were. So I'll be engaging the Registrar General so that in this couple of days remaining, we see what we can, how we can cushion your workload. And you see, this is why I think to you, the colleagues from the press, you've heard our colleagues from Western Province who had a similar opportunity when we were conducting the mobile registration. And now they are asking government to redo another exercise. What about the people out here? We might as well go back. If we had the money, we would have gone back to all the areas, because what we are seeing here is exactly what is obtaining elsewhere, as the provincial registrar stated.
Human Rights Commission spokesperson Mwelwa Muleya says it is against anyone's human rights to be disfranchised purposefully by the Electoral Commission of Zambia. Mr. Muleya says ECZ must take all necessary measures to ensure that willing eligible voters are registered ahead of the 2021 general elections. He notes with sadness that ECZ wants to halt the exercise on account that the period allocated to the exercise has elapsed, while millions of Zambians are still on queues waiting to be issued with voters' cards. Mr. Muleya has further called on government to support the commission so that it does not give excuses of capacity or lacking of funds. He adds that the voter registration is an integral part of a free, fair and credible election in which the legitimacy and authority of government should be based on universal and equal suffrage of enshrined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights and other human rights instruments.
The Human Rights Commission is encouraged by the overwhelming turn-up of eligible voters to register as voters. From the time the voter registration exercise started, we have witnessed continuous, queues of people in their quest to register as voters. That, show of commitment to exercise their democratic and constitutional right to vote is extremely encouraging. We have also observed that the Electoral Commission of Zambia has been doing all that it can do within its means to register as many people as possible. But it is clear, almost 30 days down the line, that the Commission has been struggling to meet the overwhelming popular demand to register as voters. We do believe and we are hopeful that it's not too late for the Electoral Commission of Zambia to do all that is necessary to mitigate the impact of disenfranchising eligible voters. To this effect, we call upon the government to adequately support the Electoral Commission of Zambia in order to meet their constitutional obligation to register as many eligible voters as possible.
Meanwhile, Advocacy for National Development and Democracy President Samuel Banda says those criticizing ECZ must offer solutions on what could be done better rather than calling for the resignation of commissioners. Mr. Banda says so far ECZ has done exemplary work in as far as voter registration is concerned. However, Young African Leaders Initiative President Andrew Ntewewe says he is confident that an extension will boost the needed numbers. Zambia for Unity, Peace and Development Vice President Ronnie Jere, on the other hand, has recommended for a 14-day extension. And University of Zambia Students Union President Shadrack Mumba says there is need for an extension so that some students who are returning for examinations can register as voters.
As institutions, we have closely monitored this voter registration process, and our preliminary head count shows that the Commission has of yesterday registered 5.6 million voters. In our view, we would not need any extension. If we as a country manage to register at least 75% of the 9 million estimated potential voters, in particular, if the consortium can strive to register at least 6,750,000 voters, the number would be very sufficient.
Because we know that over 1 million of those people have died. So now how does someone come to you and say, let me give you a new register, and you begin crying? You even want to take ECZ to court. And afterwards you want to demand that the ECZ chairperson resigns. We find such reasoning very, very surprising. They've given everyone an opportunity to say, let us engage, let us dialogue. Why would you be demonstrating and protesting against an institution that has given a proper open door policy? Why?
As a consortium, we want to mention that we will not allow civil society organizations sponsored by foreign entities to plant seeds of division and disunity in our country.
We want to caution individuals and entities that are working with foreign interests to cause and sow some seeds of discontent in manipulation our governance system, including the electoral process, that Zambia is a sovereign state, and as such, any governance issues will be determined and decided by the Zambian people.
New Congress Party President Peter Chanda has commended government for investing in new infrastructure at the University Teaching Hospital, UTH. Pastor Chanda, who toured the hospital Friday morning, says this is one way of providing checks and balances. Pastor Chanda says many Zambians have in the recent past been reluctant to seek medication at the hospital due to infrastructure challenges and inadequate manpower, but is happy that government is equal to the task in putting to rest such fears. According to him, President Edgar Lungu must be commended for embarking on a robust infrastructure development across the country, such as the one at the University Teaching Hospital. He has meanwhile urged those aspiring to lead Zambia to emulate President Edgar Lungu's work attitude of not leaving anyone behind. And UTH Public Relations Officer Natalie Mashikolo has thanked government for the investment at the hospital. More in this report.
It was on a fact-finding mission to offer checks and balances on the works that government is doing in the country. New Congress Party President Pastor Peter Chanda has taken time to inspect infrastructure developments at the University Teaching Hospital. Pastor Chanda says the work of the opposition should not only be centered on criticizing the government of the day, but to also offer checks and balances that yield positive results.
This was an impromptu visit. We did not inform them, we just came. Because sometimes they say when you write in advance, maybe they will put certain things in place, but we had to come at an impromptu to see for ourselves. We have not seen a situation where patients are not being attended to. UTH is a different place today, like it was 10 years ago. Today there is a massive facelift. Let's look at the casualty. UTH was the most feared place, but today look at how they are attending to emergency issues and how they are attending to the patients. And we have the patients in the caption who have appreciated the service. The decongestion the congestion in UTH is no longer there today. So my call to our fellow leaders in the opposition, let's be constructive in the way we do our politics. Providing checks and balances. It's like here we came to do a snap check on the development. Today there is a shelter for our people, which was shown to us, which was not there. And you know, our people used to struggle, especially when the doctors have to attend to the patient, especially when it is raining. They will simply tell the people to say, move out of the ward. And people would just go and sit anywhere. But today, we are seeing that President Lungu has not left anyone behind.
And UTH Public Relations Officer Natalie Mashikola says she is pleased at the massive infrastructure development that the institution has received from the government.
UTH is a different place. 10 years ago, we didn't want to come to UTH, but now it's the hospital to come to because the specialized treatment is here. Then doctors are here, the trained personnel are here. So the president has been very empathetic of leaving no one behind. And if you've got infrastructure like that, it's easy for us to accommodate different kinds of patients. And of course, we want to thank our Minister of Health, who works so hard for us to see that the Zambian people actually have better health services. And we do want to thank our director, Dr. Makupe, who's really brought a positive energy to this management in UTH.
The opposition leader has since urged other political parties to give credit where it is due and appreciate efforts that government has made in transforming the face of the country through infrastructure. Prudence Chota for Camnet TV News.
We take our second set of commercials. Do stay with us as we have international and sports news. Don't go away.
And why do you look so pale and busy scratching yourself?
Alamwandi, you know my skin is very sensitive. I've tried all the skin products and nothing seems to work.
Have you tried Oracle Pure Glycerin?
Oracle Pure Glycerin? What's that?
Just give me a minute.
Oracle Pure Glycerin gives your skin a youthful and healthy glow.
Ish, you're glowing.
Don't tell me.
Yes!
I already know the secrets.
Oracle Pure Glycerin!
Try Oracle Pure Glycerin for that perfect skin.
Thank you so much for staying with us. We continue with the news. In international news, the Democratic Republic of Congo's lower house of parliament has voted to remove its speaker in the latest round of a bitter rivalry between President Felix Tshisekedi with his predecessor and coalition partner Joseph Kabila. The vote, which took place on Thursday, was a show of strength by Tshisekedi's allies who might have had enough support to form a new majority in parliament and bring down the government, which is dominated by Kabila loyalists. The National Assembly voted by 281 to 200 to impeach Speaker Jeannie Mabunda, a close Kabila ally, accusing her of conflictual and partisan leadership and not being transparent about her management of the body's finances. During a rowdy debate that lasted hours, Mabunda denied the accusations against her and apologized for any misunderstandings. Cheers, hugs, and dancing broke out among politicians when it was clear that the motion had passed. Here is AFP with more on this story.
awa ezolenga kosepela Janine Mabuni lokola tiki par lokola tiki Assemblée nationale lokola tiki yango osepeli makasi molimo wa kabila wana elongwa nanu oto ana posa Fachi beton mwelo. Fimbo, Sikot!
We now get into sports news. The Zambia Under-20 national team has been booted out of the 2020 COSAFA men's tournament by Mozambican 10-man team. The match ended 0-0 after regulation time, but the junior Polo went on to lose the match 5-4 on post-match penalties. John Chishimba missed his spot kick while Mozambique converted all its penalties. Mozambique has now qualified to the finals after beating the defending champions. That sports item brings us to the end of the news, but before we go, a recap of the headlines. Land wrangles in the recently DE-GAZETTED Forest 42 DEEPEN. Woman killer sentenced to death by hanging. BOZ signs gold purchase agreement with the Zambia Gold Company. And in international news, DR Congo Parliament votes to remove Speaker. And in sports news, the Zambia Under-20 knocked out of the 2020 COSAFA Men's Championship by Mozambique. The Camnet verse of the day is coming from the book of John, chapter 8, verse 12, and it reads, "Then Jesus spoke to them again, I am the light of the world. Anyone who follows me will never walk in the darkness, but will have the light of life." On behalf of the entire news production crew and myself, Liseli Kanyanga, thank you so much for watching Camnet TV News on Camnet TV, not just another channel.